Alright, so today we're going to talk about the next part in our Panantukan series. In this Panantukan series I talk about entries as well as destructions, because for the way that I've learned it and the way that I teach it, I like to separate it into kind of four main ways. The last one, the last video that we did, was on the split entry and the inward bicep gunting. So I have with me my godfather, boy. So if he's throwing a jab, usually we wouldn't do this off of a jab. I usually teach it off with a cross, but more for example purposes, illustrative purposes. It would be a little bit easier for the camera and everything if I do it off the jab. If he's throwing the jab here, we show the split entry where I'm splitting one hand on the outside and one hand on the inside. And I could destroy here, I could jam, or I could go to the face. We're going to take the same kinds of concepts, only this time we're going to do it from what we call just a double inside entry. So sometimes, it could be that the person's throwing kind of a wide jab or a wide cross. I can't really slip to the outside, or for whatever reason I'm just slipping onto the inside, or I'm moving onto the inside. This time I'm moving onto the inside and both my hands are going to be on the inside. So when he throws his right hand, I want to be in this kind of position. Now for me it's really important to be able to move your body and put your head and shoulders in the right position, so that even if my technique fails, I'm still in a good position where I can evade his punch. That's the most important thing. In Atienza we talk about how your footwork or your body motions are your primary defense. So that can set you up, the angulation and the body position can set you up sometimes a lot more efficiently and safer than some of your hands. The parries and the passes are good, but you may not always be able to depend on them. You really need to use your whole body and your footwork too. So when he's throwing that right hand, I'm going to move in where both of my hands are on the inside. So my left hand is going to pass this, and I really want it where the fist passes my head. It may glance my head or my ear, and it can be kind of over the shoulder. So my motion here is when I move, I still move it out of the way. It's still like a solid boxing kind of slip. So when I come in here, I still get this. Now with this other hand, I can go as shallow or as deep as I want. Now if I start to go at, if I progress from more shallow to deeper in, I'll start off here, and I can come as shallow as like the wrist or the forearm. There's some people that will destroy on this. So when they destroy, they take the back knuckles, almost like a back fist. They can flick it, or they can do other things. If I had a blade, they would have this, and they would be looking to thrust or stab at the arm. So when this punch is coming, I have this here, and this can be my cover. This would be a very shallow cover, or if I was trying to, it could be a destruction here. One of the ways that Guru Dan talks to us about practicing these destructions is, instead of me blasting my partner's hand here, I can go just above it, and I can still do my motion and not really damage his arm. So when he throws this right hand here, I can destroy just above, and I'm going to save his forearm on the inside. So I have this here. Now I can go here, but a lot of times people will take this destruction and do their back fist or the back knuckle and hit it the inside bicep here. So when he throws that same hand, they're looking for that destruction right there. Usually if you do that, if you don't come over, we can also open the hand, and you just end up with like kind of a backhand slap. So when that right hand comes in here, I just have that motion inside. Sometimes this will reverberate and come in for my reach or my grab, or it can come in as soon as this comes in. I can come up for a palm or do other things, and a lot of times my thumb is right at the right place too. So this is my backhand or bicep destruction. So when he throws this, my double inside, and this would be my backhand destruction. Sometimes from here, if he would throw the left hand after this, I would move right into my inward bicep destruction from there, and that would be my split entry on this side. But just if we isolate the first part, we have this here, and that's my motion here. Now as I start to go in deeper, all I really have to do is extend my hands, and you can start to see that my fingers will start to enter into his range. A lot of times we'll go for eye jabs or neck strikes. So when he jabs in here, I'll look for the eye jab in here. Or if I go for the neck strike, you can come in here. You can either do a second knuckles, or I can just punch in, or you can actually go with the fingertips, or like a chopping kind of motion. A lot of times Guru Dan would have us do like kind of chopping motions with the blade of the hand or the forearm too. So when that punch came in, I would look for those kinds of motions, or I may do other things where I start to move my other hand in. If this initial hand, instead of me destroying, if it's more of like a check, or it's more of like a destruction on this forearm, I can also start to include this, my right hand, and that's how we get into incorporating our empty hand Sinawali. This would be my heaven 3. So when the right hand is thrown again, I have my 1, 2, 3, and this is my right hand shot here. Now my right hand shot, I can do all my shots with my elbow. I can come in with, I can punch, or I can hit to the body or to the head. But that's when I started to move into my 3 counts. If we're just doing the inward entry, double inside entry, or inward or backhand bicep destruction, then I'm just right here. Another thing that Guru likes to do is he likes to cover the hand, and he actually covers it like this, or he jams it in. So ideally, for me, if my opponent had his hand by his face, the backhand by the face, it kind of smothers against the face. But for training, we'll just keep it here, just so it's a little bit safer and more comfortable for him. So when Ninong throws his hand, I can just cover this here and prevent it from coming. So we call this jamming the gun. So I prevent it from firing, or I can slap it in. So when he throws his hand again, then I just slap it in, I check it. So if he does throw that other hand, if he starts to throw it, then it's already being parried. So if he tries to punch towards me, then I already have it on the inside. My hand's already there to track. Lastly, I can start to move in more and more into his body. So when he comes in here, I also have these shots like to the head, where I'm hitting the eyes. I can start to thumb the eye here. I can also bring my elbow in. I can rake the bicep. I can hit the pec, or I can come into the head too. Sometimes you'll see Guru kind of brace his forearm on his head. This is a technique that's done by some boxing people or Thai boxing. Well, a lot of the influence is Grandmaster Juanito Lacosta and some of his more Panantukan instructors that really use this. And the Lukai system, they also do this too to kind of brace. And sometimes you'll see Guru come up here and he has this in this kind of configuration. I myself don't use this too much, but I do like this raising elbow. So when that right punch comes in, I can now elbow right to the pec. I can just drive this straight in. Some people may try and clip the bicep. I don't really do this too much, but some people may try. But some people may also just come right to the neck or to the head. So when they're coming in here, obviously you have all your follow-ups. Sometimes from here, Guru would also have his follow-up here, or do other things from whatever he wanted to from there. But that, in general, in short, that's our double inside entry that I also combine with our backhand bicep destruction.